Richician!
Hey YouTube, Dog Richician 84 here for another fond memory Yu-Gi-Oh! History video type thing, and it's one that was requested a little while ago, but I'm only just getting round to it. And this is the story of how Rainbow Neos became my third favourite card in the game. So it basically all started back in 2008, but I don't think he officially became my third favourite card until 2010. So yeah, I saw Rainbow Neos for the first time in the GX anime. Then quite early on in 2008 I saw that it was going to be made into a real card. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool actually. And yet, rather surprisingly, he was the ghost rare of the set he came in, Phantom Darkness. Rather than the cover card, which was Bell Ultimate Nightmare, which was kind of odd, but I'm not going to complain. I think, but I didn't decide to build a deck with him in it until like the summer that year. But it wasn't easy, as yeah, there were quite a few cards that were difficult to get, including Prisma and Rainbow Neos himself. It took like a few months, but eventually I finished the deck in August 2008, and started playing it in a few games. Don't remember if I did round Derek's place right away, but I definitely did. When I went away to Spain for my summer holiday, and I actually used to play a single copy of Rainbow Dark Dragon in there. Don't remember how many original Rainbow Dragons I played. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3. But I did record a duel video at the time where I did what a few other people did and milled Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark Dragon with Prisma. And when I uploaded it, someone said to me, Prisma can't copy Rainbow Dragon and Rainbow Dark Dragon. I was like, yes it can, it's a fusion material listed on Rainbow Neos. And that's when I learned that stupid ruling regarding Prisma and Rainbow Neos. It was pointed out to me that Rainbow Dragon and Rainbow Dark Dragon are not technically specific fusion materials, even though it does say both names on the card, which therefore means that if you reveal Rainbow Neos with Prisma, you can only send Elemental Hero Neos. I was like, what? That's fucking stupid. And it kind of made the deck harder to play. Now, while I did have lots of ways to access Neos, I had no way to search for Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark Dragon. I know I stopped playing Rainbow Dark Dragon after that. But yeah, there was pretty much no way to do it, at least not back then, because Witch of the Black Forest, which can actually search either dragon, was still banned at the time. Rainbow Path can actually search either of them, but that requires you to send a Crystal Beast monster from the back row to the graveyard, and I can't play that card outside of a Crystal Beast deck. Rainbow Path, that is. So basically, I had to be lucky enough to hard draw Rainbow Dragon, basically. Um, and yeah, I played it in a few tournaments, because why not? I actually made top 8s in the very first 2 tournaments I played the deck in. Didn't get any further though. And then, rather annoyingly, the deck started to flop, which was a pity, because after making top 8, I decided to try and win a tournament with that deck, as well as my Elemental Hero deck. But unfortunately, after the first 2, I started to flop. Like in the next one, which was a Fortune Tour qualifier, I only won 2 matches, and that was it. And then after that, I stopped playing the deck for some weird reason. And I can't remember why, but I do remember trading away the prisoners that were in there, which was kind of awkward, because then a couple of months later I brought the deck back. But since I didn't have any spares, I actually proxied Prisma and did that until I could get some actual copies. Whether or not I did, I can't remember. But what I do remember was playing the deck in a tournament, like at the start of April in 2009. But I did even worse in that one. I only won 1 match and lost everything else, especially to fucking Macro, which was one of my most hated decks in the game at the time, and one of my arch nemesis decks, with the other one being Glad Beasts. And then I parted with the deck again for some reason. Like, again, I don't remember why. But yeah, it wasn't salt from flopping in those tournaments, by the way. I do know that. And then much later on in the year, I thought about the deck and I was thinking, I actually miss playing Rainbow Neos. I want to play it again. So I did, but it wasn't too difficult to rebuild. I was able to get the parts again quite quickly. Unfortunately, the play set I ended up with was in odd rarities, but I do still have them to this day. I'm sure one of them is an original copy, but this is the play set of Rainbow Neos that I had since late 2009. This Ghost Rare one is unfortunately has a couple of creases, which is annoying. Like, and I know it's painful to see on a first edition Ghost Rare. Yeah, this playset of Rainbow Neos does have sentimental value, and it's still, they're still in the Rainbow Neos deck itself. Never gonna get rid of them. Then I played it in yet another tournament in November that year, but again I didn't do very well, which was annoying. I think I won 2 matches, one of which was against Bilsey, aka Silver Cyclone. Like, I remember that was the very first time we ever played against each other. Like, he was playing some random deck that had an Earthbound Immortal, plus Red Dragon Archfiend and Savage Colosseum. The memories. Don't know. Like, even to this day, I don't know why I wasn't doing very well with the deck back then. It was just unfortunate. and this continued into early 2010. Um, I played it in a tournament at Bedford, but again I flopped. I specifically remember losing to Six Samurais, Macro, and Gadgets. Don't remember what my other loss was against, but I do know I did get a win against this guy, Simon Bailey, playing a Gemini Hero deck, which was really cool, interesting, and completely original. Loved it, and it inspired me to make my own version later on. I do remember the Gadget loss being annoying, because twice in a row I bricked. Yeah, I had a really bad hand in both games. It was so annoying. Even to this day, I don't even understand how Elemental Hero based decks can brick. They're meant to be one of the most consistent decks in the game due to the amount of search power they have, even back then. But I guess since it's Rainbow Neos, Rainbow Dragon was a brick, I guess. And then I did about the same in a tournament, a Pharaoh's Elite tournament over a week later, where again I only got one match win, which was against Billsy again. He was playing Light Swans. I know my first loss was against Flemfell Monarch, and my next one was against Zombies. This one was just a drag. I mean, I remember one game where the guy just took forever to play out his turn. He was just basically doing a million things, just making some level 6 synchro monsters, and I was just sitting there being bored out of my mind, thinking, for the love of God, is this turn ever going to end sometime this century? And then I got OTK'd. That was annoying, and it actually made me hate zombies back then. I don't even know how Rainbow Neos can even lose to zombies. Rainbow Neos is supposed to hard counter decks that rely on the graveyard, and yet lost against zombies and would sometimes lose to Light Swans back then. So annoying. And then I went up against another zombie deck that day. This one had some randomly placed cards, including Dimensional Fissure and Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. Yeah, you heard me right. This zombie deck had D-Fissure. It was so random. And it only appeared in game 1 though, and I remember Davies, old friend of mine, watching and asking, why are you playing D-Fissure in a zombie deck? And the opponent said, oh, I have it in there in case I play against Light Swans. And even today I'm like, really? Why? I mean, surely something like that would be a side deck option against Light Swans, but then again, it's still not good in a zombie deck, because the idea of zombies is to get your graveyard set up and bring a bunch of zombies back from the graveyard. It's the gimmick of any zombie deck. Dimensional Fissure does not complement zombie decks in any way whatsoever. If you play it in zombies, you're only just hurting yourself, maybe even more than the opponent. But not that it mattered at the time though, since I still somehow lost the duel. Game 2, I was stopped by Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. For those who don't know what it is, it's a continuous trap which stops level 6 or higher effect monsters from attacking or activating their effects. So Rainbow Neos was paralysed, and then the Rainbow Neos that got stopped, got popped, and then I brought out another one, and attempted to use the effect, thinking it worked like Shadow Spell or Fiendish Chain, but no, it's just simply a continuous trap that affects all level 6 or higher effect monsters. Luckily though, I was able to turn things around. I summoned Phantom of Chaos, banished the Rainbow Neos from my graveyard, and copied its effect, sent a back row to grave to spin away his back row, and with the trap off the field, I could then use the real Rainbow Neos' first effect, sending the Phantom to spin away his monsters and attack for game. Then game 3, I just got unlucky, had no plays, and I was scooped. Don't remember what my other loss was against, but yeah, it wasn't great. So I made some adjustments, tried to make the deck better, and it kind of did in the following tournament I played it in, which was the first one of the March 2010 format. I put in Chaos Sorcerer, because why not, and an Absolute Zero. Yeah, I didn't have much of an extra deck before, so I figured I needed the Omni Elemental Heroes, but Absolute Zero was all I had to work with to start off with. Yeah, Gaia still wasn't easy to get at the time, and none of the others had come out yet. Again, didn't do that well. I won 2 out of 3 matches, so it was better than before. But then came one of the most successful runs yet. So I made even more improvements and built it in the same way that I made my Neos Beatdown deck. I decided to put in some more aggressive plays, basically, and even run 2 copies of Honest. Don't remember how many copies of Neos Alias I had, but they plus Wrath of Neos did help a lot. And in the following tournament, which was during the Easter holidays, I did so well. Got 3 wins and 2 losses. Like, the losses were against Monarchs, boo, and Yusei Fudo Turbo, but my wins were against Gravekeepers, and I don't remember what my others were against. So I made top 8 for the first time in 2.5 years. Faced Dell's Logos 1974, like the Godfather himself, playing Black Wings, and despite Royal Oppression causing problems, I managed to win the match and go through to the top 4, where I faced Blue with Gravekeepers again, managed to win against them. So I was in the final, and then everything went to shit. I once again bricked twice in a row, and against one of my most hated decks of all time, X-Sabers. I hate them because all they ever do is OTK, hand loop, and use Maturia Beast and Guzzin Match to stop me from being able to play. Never liked them, never will. But of course it didn't even matter what they did. I had no plays because I bricked. And even though I sided, I still bricked, and I didn't see any of my sided cards. So I lost the whole tournament. Like, that was so shit. Like, it was the greatest run that Rainbow Neos had had yet at the time, and it all came to an end because I bricked right at the end, like at the worst time ever. But still, I was happy that I did as well as I did. But then for some reason I parted with the deck again. I don't even remember why, to be honest. But I do remember that I sorted out the deck to Billsy, because he genuinely likes that deck. I guess he holds some sentimental value to it as well, because it was what I used when we first met and first duel. But he only had it for a few months because I ended up missing playing the deck again and I wanted it back. And he agreed to it, and the deck's been in my possession ever since. Over 11 years on, never gotten rid of it, even when it was fused with Dark Magician and Elemental Heroes to make another of my greatest decks of all time, a Legendary Hero. Yeah, it's been in my possession since, and I'm never going to get rid of it. Like I keep saying, that Dark Magician and Elemental Heroes are my favourite 3 decks of all time, and my big signature 3, the ones I will never ever get rid of, regardless of what goes on with the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And of course I did eventually win a tournament with this deck. It was a tag team tournament that happened back in the spring of 2016, where I teamed up with Alex, aka Brute Boy, playing Yang Zings, and we just went undefeated. I even wore this exact same hoodie on the day as well, funnily enough. So it took 8 years, but Rainbow Neos did eventually win a tournament for me. Yeah, I genuinely do have a lot of fun with it, and I guess there was a bond with Rainbow Neos the whole time, hence why I kept coming back to the deck after those 3 times I parted with it. Shouldn't have parted with it really. I guess I grew that fond of it that that's what made Rainbow Neos my 3rd favourite card in the entire game. Like even like a couple of people like Aaron Henman and Weber's 5 associate me with that card more than Dark Magician for some reason, because Rainbow Neos was what I used when I first met them and duelled them, and won against them 2-0 each. Henman was just absolutely blown away when I played it against him. Oh, and he was using Machina Light Swarm at the time. This was back in September 2010, whereas I met Weber's 5 in March 2014, and he was using a Utopia deck. And I guess ever since then, Rainbow Neos has been an arch nemesis card of his since that day. I mean, yeah, he is my 3rd favourite monster, but you know, Dark Magician is always going to be my #1 favourite monster, and my signature card, and the card I associate myself more with. But Rainbow Neos comes close though, although not as close as Elemental Heroes Shining Flare Wingman. and of course Rainbow Neos proved to be one of my very best decks, even so much so that when I was playing in tournaments, the deck was my secondary tournament deck, whereas Dark Magician was of course the primary deck that I used in tournaments, whereas Elemental Heroes was more of a casual fun deck, but I guess was my main fun deck that I would use in tournaments every once in a while. Even that proved to be one of my very best decks. Before Neos Fusion came out, a Gold Sarcophagus and Melody of Awakening Dragon did help me out a lot. Coffer I only played specifically to add Rainbow Dragon, but when we got Melody of the Awakening Dragon, it made it a lot easier to get to Rainbow Dragon. And there was a beautiful combo as well, where I would discard Shadow Mist for the cost, then Shadow Mist would give me Neos, and if I had a Polymerization in hand, or an Elemental Blaze Man on hand, or even Vion, I could use them to add a Poly, and then go into Rainbow Neos. But of course, Neos Fusion made the deck even better. Like, it was just a one-card Rainbow Neos, just like that. So it helped that deck out a lot, as well as Neo-Spacian decks, of course. In fact, I even started playing a single copy of Rainbow Neos in my Neo-Spacian deck. I mean, of course, I did try not to rely on Rainbow Neos too much whenever I played my Neo-Spacian deck, since the Neo-Spacians and the Fusions were the focus. But Rainbow Neos was just a helpful addition to the deck, and something I can't really do without. I was even thinking of playing Elemental Hero Neos Kruger in both my Rainbow Neos and Neo-Spacian decks, but just because I could. But the only reason I don't is because it would require me to play Yubel and maybe even Neos Wise Man, because why not? But I chose not to, because both Yubel and Neos Wise Man are bricks. So it's not really worth the risk. I mean, sure, you could argue that Rainbow Dragon is a brick in Neo-Spacians, but since it's only going to go to the grave through Neos Fusion, it doesn't even matter. And I think I remember a few people even complaining about Rainbow Neos even more because of Neos Fusion, because they couldn't use monster destruction to get rid of it so easily. I mean, on one hand, I can understand that frustration, but on the other hand, I think the Rainbow Neos hate is just unfair. Like, same with any original series or GX boss monster. I think the hate and disrespect is just unfair and uncalled for. Like, they haven't done anything wrong, unlike meta cards and monsters that negate everything, like Dragoon and Infinity. I mean, Rainbow Neos is tough, but it's not that difficult to get around. Just saying. What else did I want to say? I guess that's everything, really. Yeah, that's the story of how Rainbow Neos became my third favourite card. Hope you enjoyed and found it fascinating. And let me know in the comments if you are a fellow Rainbow Neos fan. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Richician YouTube channel.